Hi guys, welcome to Christmas version of Cupcake Jemma. Now I hope you caught the bakery tour that we did last week. We just filmed it and it was really fun. We really got into the spirit of things. London is slowly starting to be all out Christmassy, so we really had fun. And if you haven't seen that video, check it out. It's just on the channel, and we visited all our favourite London bakeries that are doing like Christmassy stuff, and it was really good fun. And we also popped into Crumbs and Doilies, the shop, and picked up one of the new Christmas themed New York cookies, which is a candy cane cookie. Now these are delicious. They're based on our sort of black cocoa chocolate cookie, but instead of dark chocolate, we have red and white chocolate, and it's a hint of peppermint, so giving you that candy cane vibe. Now, you're probably not going to believe this, but I did not wear this top thinking that it was a candy cane. I literally just realised as I looked down, I have actually come as a candy cane. But you know what? If it gets you in the spirit of things, then, you know, can't be bad. New York cookie, they're really easy. You've seen us do them so many times, and obviously some people don't, you know, get on board because you have to wait. Guys, I promise you, they're worth the wait. But the first thing you're gonna need to do for these ones is melt your white chocolate. So I have these lovely chunks of white and red white chocolate here, and it was really simple. All I did was I melted 400 grams of white chocolate. Use good quality white chocolate if you can. I just melted that in the microwave in 30-second bursts, just stirring it in between just to make sure it was melting nice and evenly. Then I measured out half of it into a separate bowl, and using Colour Mill food colouring, which is an oil-based food colouring perfect for colouring chocolate, I coloured one lot of it white and one red to symbolise the candy cane. I have a tray which I just separated using some crinkled up baking paper, and I just used these little bulldog clips to separate them and poured that in. So just give that a tap just to get rid of any air bubbles, and then pop that into the fridge if you are in a rush, or you could just leave that room temperature if you're sort of doing your chocolate in the morning and then getting your cookie dough ready in the afternoon. And you end up with lovely, vibrant, well, if you're using decent food colouring, lovely vibrant colours. And I just, once it's set, just chop it up with a big knife, and I've got all sorts of kind of sizes here, from like massive chunky bits, which I'm going to get in my cookie, which are going to be all oozy when I break my cookie, to sort of little flecks, and that's totally okay to have that mixture, don't worry about it. So without further ado, let's get making cookies. Now, as usual, the first thing to do is beat your butter and your sugar together. Now, always make sure you're using very cold butter. Do you know, I don't have a single spatula. Oh, thank goodness for this. Always make sure it's really nice and cold, like fridge cold. You want to just, don't let it sit out and warm up, because this needs to be really hard as your butter can be. Not frozen, but like cold. And then I have a mixture of caster sugar and also light brown sugar. And all of the quantities are in the description box below. And don't forget, if you're a member of the Bake Club, you also get a PDF, downloadable PDF that you can print out. And then just beat that until it's turning into sort of craggy nuggets. Okay, so it might seem like not much has happened because you still have all these big chunks of butter in there, but that's absolutely as it should be. With this whole recipe, you don't want to go to town. You don't want to beat things until they're smooth or anything like that. Now it's time to put all your chunky bits in. So if you're making any of our New York cookies, this is where you'd put all your chocolate chips or your raisins or any of those lumpy bits. So in it goes. So now that that is a chunky rubble, it's time to add the rest of the dry ingredients. So I've got a mixture of flours. I've got plain flour here and self-raising. The reason being the self-raising, the little bit of self-raising just gives it an extra boost, just a bit of more rise. Not too much though, we don't want these to be kind of cakey. And then I also have our favourite black cocoa. Now this is not the sort of thing you can find in the supermarket. You'll probably need to Google it, depending on where you are. You know, some specialist shops might sell it, or you can get this online usually. But it'll make your cookies or your bakes like super dark in colour, but also the chocolatey flavour is really intense and almost bitter, but like in a nice way. So we've got some of that. And I also have baking powder and also some salt just to bring out all the flavours, and then drop the mixer down and just fold that together on the slowest speed until you have a kind of sandy consistency. And now it's time for the wet ingredients. So that is just 1 egg yolk and then 2 whole eggs. And we always whisk these at the beginning, like not putting them in individually because we don't want to overwork the dough. Like with anything, cookies with flours in. What? Like with, as always with any cookie, you want to minimise the mixing once the flour's gone in, otherwise you'll end up with tough cookies. And then once you've whisked your eggs, you can add your peppermint. So I'm using really good quality peppermint extract, just 1/4 teaspoon of that, and then just whisking that through as well. And then just pour that in with the rest of the ingredients. Like I said, you don't want to overwork this. You're looking for it to be rubbly, chunky, and nuggety. And this is my favourite bit because I get to toss all this dough out onto the counter and it just feels very naughty, even though that's totally how you do it. I don't know, it just feels like my mum would have told me off about doing something like that when I was a kid. Anyway, it's also just very satisfying to see it coming out. Whoa. As you can see, it looks a bit of a mess and you might be thinking, well, surely that's not right, but I can assure you, it is. I have gloves on, as you can see, because this can get a bit messy, especially with black cocoa, and I've got my trusty weighing scales because, as always with a New York cookie, we roll them in 125-gram balls, so I need to make sure I do that exactly. So here we go. Let's see if I can get it right the first time. I did that the other day, it was really satisfying. With the New York cookies, you don't want to overwork them at any point, and that includes the balling process. So you don't want to be rolling it like as if you were rolling a perfect sphere. You want to just like squeeze it like this. And it doesn't matter if it's a bit craggy, that's what you want, because when it bakes, it will stay craggy and you'll be able to kind of break it open in lovely like chunks. But I've also got some leftover red and white chocolate, which I had knocking about from testing. And if you want to make extra to do this, you can, or hold some back from your melting, that's totally fine. And I'm just going to stud the top of these balls just with a couple of bits, just to make sure everyone can see the lovely white and red chocolate. So just keep doing that, keep rolling your balls, 125 grams. You'll end up with 12 perfectly sized balls, and then you'll have like a little one left over that you can just kind of nibble on. No one has to know. Look, Dane's normally doing the cookies with Sally. It's like the first time I've ever done it for you guys. Bet you thought I didn't make them. You'd be wrong. Once you've rolled all your balls, you need to pop those into the freezer for at least 4 hours. I'm sorry guys, but ideally overnight. 4 hours will just about do it though. So once your balls have been in the freezer and they are rock solid, which is why it's really good to have them doing that overnight, you can bake them. And I've got my oven preheated to 190 degrees C. As usual, I use a fan-assisted oven. And I'm gonna bake all of them, but guys, you do not have to do that. You can indeed just do one if you want, and then save the rest for another time, you know, when you just need a cookie. But I have lots of hungry mouths downstairs in the bakery, so I'm gonna do them all. And I'm just gonna bake these for 16 minutes. That's just the right amount of time to get them slightly like crispy on the outside and the bottom, and then like oozy and squishy on the inside. Oh, can't wait. I've had to be so patient because when you bring these out of the oven, they just look and smell so good, but there is absolutely no point in trying to crack one open at that point because they're like molten lava and they will disintegrate and burn your tongue, so we don't want that. 20 minutes is the absolute optimum cooling time for these guys. Obviously you can eat them whenever you like, but if you want a nice like slightly warm cookie with all the chocolate being oozy, 20 minutes is your guy. So let's have a little look. Let's crack one open. Come in, Dane, let's have a go. Ooh. Yeah, look at that. All those lovely bits of white and red chocolate. And there's a really, really subtle smell of peppermint as well. Not too much. sometimes if you put too much peppermint in it, your eyes get all watery, but this is just right. It's like just minty enough. And I want to have a little bite, so let's get a nibble on. I chose a really messy bit, didn't I? Ooh. Do you know what? That's really lovely because it's not too chocolatey, so you don't get overpowered with chocolate. You do get that mint coming through. If you did want to boost the chocolate, you could always replace some of the white and red chocolate chunks with dark chocolate. That would be really nice, but I actually quite like this subtle chocolatiness. So you guys are going to be able to get your hands on these in the shop, obviously, 'tis the season. And also, head over to crumsanddoilies.co.uk if you're in the UK and you want to order yourself a Christmas selection. We have loads of Christmassy stuff on the menu at the moment. Or you can just make them yourself, guys. Like, that's what we're here for, to teach you how to do that. So if you do that, make sure you take pics, put them on Instagram, use the hashtag Cupcake Jemma so we can check them out. And also, if you're a member of the Bake Club and you bake this, we have chats going on so you can put your picture there and interact with us and the community there. So that we can see your bakes directly. We love having chats with you over there. So yes, if you want to join the Bake Club, head over to patreon.com. We'll put a link to that in the description box below. But I think I need to, I should probably share these around. I might just finish this little nugget on my own, in private, in the corner somewhere, and then I guess I can depart with the rest of them, I suppose, with the team downstairs. I know they're gagging for it. Anyway, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Bye.